So this video is about the 68%, 95%, 99.7% rule, or for short, it's called the empirical rule. So for a normally distributed data set, about 68% of the data falls within one standard deviation of the mean. About 95% of the data falls within two standard deviations of the mean, and about 99.7% of the data falls within three standard deviations of the mean. So here we have a data set, and this is x bar, so the mean minus one standard deviation, the mean plus one standard deviation, so 68% of the data falls within one standard deviation of the mean. And if you split that up, 34% falls within one standard deviation below the mean and the mean, and another 34% falls within the mean up to one standard deviation above the mean. Similarly, about 95% of the data falls within two standard deviations of the mean. Again, this is the mean plus two standard deviations, and the mean minus two standard deviations. And if you split this up in half, 47.5% each in these two regions. And similarly, 99.7% approximately falls within three standard deviations of the mean. Now, it's not so easy to see, but there theoretically here, this tail is not included, and this tail out here is not included. You see a little bit of white in there and there. It's only between. If you split that up, then in these two regions, each approximately 49.85% of the data. So putting all that information together and just doing a little bit of arithmetic, you can see what percent of the data falls within each one of these intervals. Note that each of these intervals are bounded. The wing out here is not bounded. It's above three standard deviations above the mean, and this down here is not bounded. It's anywhere below three standard deviations below the mean. And that's an introduction to the empirical rule.